everyone, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about boy groups, specifically the boy groups Stray Kids, Ateez, MCND, and the Boyz. If you're a regular watcher of my videos, you would know that I actually stan every single one of these boy groups. I'm sort of a boy group stan, but also more of a multi. If you check my stan list, I actually have like 50% girl groups, 50% boy groups. But I sort of present myself as more of a boy group stan because I don't think there are many other K-pop YouTubers who like most of the popular 4th gen boy groups. So I thought it would be fun to make one of those versus videos for some of my favorites. Now, Ateez, Stray Kids, and the Boyz all participated in the Mnet show Kingdom, and I sort of view them as the 4th gen leaders, so that's why they're here in this video. And if you've watched literally anything that I've ever put out on this channel, you would know that my ultimate group is MCND. And even though they're not as popular as some of the other 4th gen groups that are around, this is my channel, and you know, I'm gonna do what I want. And I'm gonna be not ranking them, but talking about who I think is best in a bunch of different categories. So we have vocals, dance, rap, stage presence, styling. I'm just gonna actually put them all on the screen right now, and there should also be those chapters in the description if you just want to like jump ahead to any of the categories specifically. And yeah, I'll be talking about why I think each group who won each category is the best at that, and also why some of the others didn't if I think I need to. Thank you so much for watching. Another reminder that I stan all of these groups, so I'm not trying to like be malicious towards any of them, and without further ado, let's get into the vocal section. Celebrate for you. Celebrate for you. There should be no arguments that if Jungho is in your group, you are going to win the vocal category. I think I would even go as far to say that Jungho is the best male vocalist of the 4th generation. When taking into account both their encore stages and their Kingdom performances, it's very obvious that Jungho is one of the most consistent live singers that exists right now. Not that there's much competition in 4th gen, but still. And San and Seonghwa are very solid lead vocalists too, who never fail to play their part. Now honestly, Stray Kids, the Boyz, and MCND all have an above average vocal line from what I would say, but to be honest, I don't think any of them really compare to Ateez when it comes to vocal range and consistency. If Jungho wasn't in any of these groups, it would be a much more interesting conversation, but considering he's in Ateez, I think we can just leave it at that. Now I think the rap section was also fairly obvious, but there's a bit more to talk about here. If I was judging solely on technique, I'm honestly not sure if I'd put Changbin and Han above the likes of say Hongjoong, Castle J, or Sunwoo. But the main reason that I actually put Stray Kids above the other groups when it comes to rap is because of how their raps are integrated into their music. While there are exceptions to this, if you look at every single song in every single one of these groups' discographies, typically when you look at any of the groups on this list that aren't Stray Kids, the way their raps are presented in their songs is very repetitive. You look at Ateez, and even though this doesn't happen every single time, there are more than enough cases in title tracks alone of Hongjoong and Mingi taking up the first and second verses in basically their entirety and then disappearing for almost the rest of the song, to the point where you can kind of expect what you're gonna hear from Ateez's rap line whenever they release a new comeback. You can sit down and go, okay, I'm probably gonna hear some sort of vocal intro for like 10 or 15 seconds, and then Hongjoong or Mingi are gonna take up the rest of the first verse, and then whichever one hasn't shown up yet, after the first chorus ends, the other one's gonna rap for like 30 seconds. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I stan all of these groups, of course I like their music. I'm just saying it's formulaic, and even though it works and it makes their music sound good, these groups' raps never really go out of their way to surprise you, and I can't say the same thing for Stray Kids. You look at Stray Kids' title tracks alone, and their raps are incorporated into their songs in so many different ways. In God's Menu, Changbin's rap is used as the introduction to the song, and in Miro it's used as both a pre-chorus and a bridge. I just think there's an unpredictability when it comes to Stray Kids and their rappers that you don't see with the other groups, at least for the most part. I mean, Ateez have Wonderland, the Boyz have The Stealer, and MCND have Na Na Na, which definitely break the formula that they usually stick to, but I think Stray Kids surprise you just about every single time, and that's why I put them above the rest. Even though every single one of these groups are absolutely insane when it comes to dancing, I think MCND definitely take the cake. And it comes down to the fact that there's not a single weak link within the group. The other groups, they have amazing dancers, don't get me wrong, but they also have members who are mostly focused on singing or rapping. And MCND, even though they have their vocal line and their rap line, all 5 members are part of their dance line. Each member has spent over 3 years before debut specifically to learn dance, and all of them have even gone overseas to do so, and at least personally, I think it does this show. Even by watching just one performance, you can tell that they have incredibly difficult choreography, and not once have they released a dance that is easy to learn. And even though almost all of their choreography is impossibly difficult, somehow none of them stand out in a bad way. With all of these other groups, yes, they have amazing dancers, but they have members who aren't dance focused, and you can tell. And they just don't have the same level of consistency between the whole team as MCND. There's not much else to say. I would just highly recommend checking out some of their dance practices, and especially their live practices when they sing live, because you can tell that their singing doesn't detract from their dancing at all. Like seriously, the talent level is massive. Ateez undeniably has some of the best stage presence that K-pop has ever seen, with their energy being so infectious and explosive that you can't help but get kinda hyped when you watch them perform. Somehow all of them exude like main character energy, and their usage of facial expressions especially really draw you into their performances. I'm looking at you, Son. Yes, when you take individual fan cams and look at specific moments, they can definitely look a little bit messy, but when they come together as a full group, everything looks very polished and put together. Yes, some of them are a little bit weaker when it comes to dancing and facial expressions, but they help cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. And overall, I do think out of the four of these groups, they have the best stage presence. The Boyz absolutely have incredible conceptual and diverse styling, with eras like Thrill Ride or Giddy Up taking concepts such as water park or sports, and somehow giving each member a memorable, unique, and good-looking outfit that stands out. I mean seriously, these guys in Thrill Ride, like, I cannot believe that they are human. It does not make sense. And somehow their stylists make it look effortless to have an 11-membered boy group all have different outfits that are somehow cohesive, all sticking to a common theme and not having any conflicting colors. Like seriously, some of these groups have 4 members and they all get dressed like they're performing different songs. It's insane. In conclusion, everybody's stylists should take notes from those of the Boyz, because this is peak styling. It does not get better than this. I'm not gonna say a lot for this one. 3RACHA write and compose almost every single song that Stray Kids put out, and the amount of credits that Castle J has for MCND or Hongjoong does for Ateez just does not compare. We're talking about almost, if not an entire discography of composing credits for Stray Kids, and like 15 to 20 songs of composing credits from Hongjoong and Castle J combined. Sure, there might be mixtapes from all 3 of these groups, but I'm talking about official discographies. Like, the point goes to Stray Kids. Let's not even try to argue this. Moving on. This is the most biased section in this video, but MCND is my all-time favorite group, so why would their discography not be my favorite? I love the way their voices mesh together. I love how many genres that they've explored with only like 30 songs under their name. I love how all of their songs, even the softer ones, have so many different layers to unravel and unpack, and you always feel like you're hearing something new when you're listening to MCND. Obviously, a bunch of people have differing opinions, but I just recommend that you check out their discography for yourself, because seriously, there are some absolute diamonds within their catalog. But if you're a regular Planet Minjay watcher, you've heard me say this a million times before, so let's just go to the next section. Pirates. I love pirates. Pirates are what Ateez are. That's their concept. I love their concept. It's amazing. We need more of it. And we need it yesterday. Seeing a 4th gen group commit so hard to such a niche concept is really refreshing to see. And overall, I just really love the aesthetics of the pirate concept. Ateez like mix badass rock stars with pirates and turn it into a musical K-pop group. I don't know who came up with that, but I want to give them a raise. They have eye patches and ripped jeans because they're rock stars and they're holding a flag and they're sailing on a ship at the same time. It's so cool. I think there used to be a storyline. It seems like they've sort of abandoned it with some of their recent music videos, but you know, that's fine. I'm really just here for the aesthetics. And let me tell you, those aesthetics, oh, they are so good. I love them. I need more of them. I'm gonna go watch an Ateez music video right now. This one was a no-brainer, like The Stealer. Watch the dance practice for The Stealer by the Boyz right now and you'll know exactly what I mean. The Boyz' choreography is always so creative and amazing to look at. Their formations are always so unique. I think in Thrill Ride they were literally like dancing as if their bodies were a roller coaster. Like, who comes up with that? And in The Stealer they were literally jumping off each other's backs and sliding on the floor, and they were like grabbing on the walls. I don't know what was going on there. It was too much to handle. That's definitely one of the benefits of having such a large group, because it's as if the boys aren't dancing to their choreography. The choreography is actually controlling them, and because they have so many bodies, the choreography has so many tools to work with. Their formation changes are always so concise and seamless, and it's kind of like the group is just a blob of Play-Doh that's waiting to be formed into a new shape. They must practice all of their new songs literally thousands of times, because I don't know how they make it look so clean, and just my mind gets blown every single time I watch one of their stages. To be completely honest, I don't really follow variety content from any of these other groups besides MCND, but from what I've seen of Stray Kids, it's sort of annoying how much these guys like each other. Of course, we don't know the true nature of the relationship that these idols have with each other, but from the way Stray Kids present themselves, every single time I see them interact with each other, they just ooze charisma. The behind the scene clips, the shots in the music videos where they're interacting with each other, and just everything I see on my timeline, from what I've seen, it looks like these guys are obsessed with each other, and it's honestly pretty charming. Not every group needs to have a familial connection with each other. It's totally fine if they just treat each other like business partners, but Stray Kids definitely seem like a family. And even though I haven't watched a lot of extra content from them, the way that Stray Kids has 8 different unique and large personalities makes everything that I have seen super entertaining. To be honest, I not only think the boys have the best title tracks out of the entirety of 4th Gen, I also think they have some of, if not the best title tracks within the entirety of K-pop. I feel like nowadays the average 4th Gen boy group has fine title tracks, but they don't really have that factor that makes you want to listen again. But this is something that the boys just do not struggle with at all. And I think it's because almost all of their title tracks have a really catchy hook. From DDD's Dance 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 to Reveal's Down 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 for Your Love to Thrill Ride's Do 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 Do. There's always that one part that just gets stuck in that little spot in the back of your mind and you can't get it out no matter how hard you try. But that's definitely not a bad thing. After listening to the boys title track one time, you sort of get that itch on your brain where you feel like you could only scratch it by listening to the song again. And then at least for me, this happens so many times where eventually I'm just like, wait, why do I have this song memorized from beginning to end? And why am I still not bored of it if I've listened to it so many times? These are questions that I'm probably not going to have an answer for anytime soon, but you know, I'm just going to enjoy their good title tracks while I can. No, because how has MCND created a golden discography despite only having 4 mini albums? Because even though they have less music than the rest of these groups, their catalog is so consistently good, where I feel like they're the only one of these groups that has a genuinely no-skip discography. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to myself, there are 1 or 2 skips, and they are named Reason and Movin', but that's besides the point. And even though their title tracks don't deviate in sound that much, their B-sides absolutely do. They always have 1 or 2 softer and cuter songs to appeal to anyone who isn't really into noise music, and then the rest of their discography really plays off this high energy sound that they've created for themselves. Like, even though their title tracks feel like a straight shot of caffeine, somehow their B-sides do this tenfold. And of course this is biased, but no other group has music that has the same effect on me. Not gonna lie, for this category, it kind of felt like I was picking the least of 4 evils. Because even though I love all of these groups, like, come on, the Boyz, MCND, Stray Kids, we could have been a little bit more creative than that. Yeah, I'm sure all of these group names have some sort of meaning behind them, I'm not gonna deny that, but at the same time, they're just kind of not appealing to say. And honestly, the same goes to Ateez, but it's just a little bit less so. I have absolutely no idea what Ateez means, but I mean, it sounds kind of cool. Ateez. Ateez. Like, yeah, it's a fine name. It's okay. So like, woo, go Ateez. Your name isn't as bad as the others here, I guess. Good for you. No competition here, honestly. Like, Gem, that is one of the best fandom names that I've ever heard, and I don't know how nobody's taken it yet. It just feels fancy, it just feels special, it just feels unique. Like, calling your fans Gems, that's definitely gonna make people want to be a part of your fandom. Okay, I know I probably shouldn't be saying that when we have the smallest fandom within all of these groups. I'm not trying to set myself up there, but I'm just gonna acknowledge my, any potential for insultation that might come my way. Don't make fun of me, I'm self-aware. But yeah, I just think Gem is a really pretty fandom name, and I think more people should become Gems. You know, join us. You know you want to, right? This all comes down to personal preference, but I don't like any of the other groups' debuts on this list, unless you count Pirate King, but I think I counted the other one. I think it's Treasure? Is it Treasure? Let me look this up, be right back. Okay, it is Treasure, I just looked it up, and yeah, I do not like that song at all. I think Boy by the Boyz is fine, I think District 9 is honestly kinda awful, but I think Ice Age is a fantastic debut song. It really carved out an identity for MCND straight from the get-go, and it feels way too clean and professional to be a group's introduction into the K-pop scene. Ice Age, second best debut of all time. It's true. Only second to Priston V's Get It, because that song, oh, just immaculate. Cannot be described. And that concludes this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I know people are definitely going to be mad at me in the comment section below, but I do not care, because they're the kind of people who only stand one group and think that their group is the best at everything and nobody else can come close. Yeah, I'm just unbothered. Sorry about it. Thank you so much again for watching. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like. If you enjoyed me and want to see more from me, consider subscribing. And without further ado, I'll see you all next time. Bye!